Guys, it's Rebecca from the B&O Railroad Museum. Today we're going to read a story about a little girl who wants to change the world. We're going to read Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. Sofia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek, who couldn't get out and about on their own, and with no place to gather, were stuck home alone. Raking the leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk. Sofia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and friends in her whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sofia liked better. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophie to class. They walked home along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and girl, except for that Tuesday when the pup saw a squirrel. With a howl, pup took off, racing through the town, over, under, beneath, and around. Sofia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing pup. Up the squirrel ran to the top of a hill made of leftover junk for the local landfill. They reached the tip-top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splattering crash. Down they all tumbled and hit with a thud on a moldy old pumpkin surrounded by mud. "Ouch," cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. "A dangerous mess," he said, grasping her hand. The next day, Sofia walked to school solo. It wasn't the same without her Abuelo. "This is not right," declared young Sofia, who glared at Mount Trashboard and got an idea. The very next morning, at 1:30 dawn, she planted a sign in the front of the line. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. "Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park." Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play. Meeting spots, gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for cheese. She drew every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by 1/4 till dark. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam! She woke with a thought in her head. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sofia could build it alone, but how could one girl do so much on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache as night thunder growled and she laid wide awake. Then dawn brought a storm and gloomy skies wept, and the heartsick Sofia finally slept. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to the pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sofia. "For courage," he whispered, "Te amo mi vida." Sophia's knees wobbled, and she felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sofia Valdez went to face City Hall. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do. The office of monkeys, the department of cheese, the division of fountains, and the meetings of bees. Then down to the basement, so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped. And that's where the clerk said what no one else did: "You can't build a new park, you're only a kid." The words smacked Sofia deep down in her heart. Her plan was gaboshed before it could start. "I think," said Sofia, "I think the law's wrong." But her second-grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said clearly it cannot be done. "Do you have any questions?" Sofia said, "One." If you were me, and I was you, and he was your grandpa, what would you do? I? Well, said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought, and then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak. But her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as dozens of emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sophia leaned back. Then her arms brushed the edge of an old cookie sack. And that was the moment when Sophia first knew being brave means doing the things you must do. Though your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sophia started talking. She spelled out her plan, and why it all mattered, and how it began. And once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play, and other ideas for things they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. All right, cried the mayor, go start a petition. If the town wants a new park, we'll form a commission. And so young Sophia got right to work, with some help from her family and pup and the clerk. Then others joined in, not all, but a few, like Miss Leela Greer and the kids in grade 2. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, the bulldozers, cranes, and the blue bigger digger. They all built the park, that's how it got done, with the hard work of, by, and for everyone. But it began with the dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold this truth to be self-evident, that Sofia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sofia, that real-life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. That's the end of our story today. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.